Hello, sixth graders. Welcome back to our third lesson. And the third lesson deals with subtracting of integers. So subtracting positive and negative numbers. Now, they start you out with two positive numbers. Okay, so if you have four positives and you're going to subtract two positives, we really can just take two away, can't we? Which leaves us, now with two positives over there. Okay, so our answer to that would be a positive 2. Okay, pretty simple start. But we're going to show you something that really will help you when you deal with negatives. So now, on this one, we have four positives, and we're going to add on two negatives. So here's your four positives right here, and here's your two negatives that you're adding on. And now we learned the other day that when you have a positive and a negative of the same, they can make a zero pair, or what we call convenient zeros. So 4 plus a negative 2 is two positives. Now I want to draw your attention back to the first question. The first question was 4 minus 2, and the second question became 4 plus negative 2. And I want you to see that they came out with the same answer. Okay, 4 minus 2 and 4 plus negative 2 came out to be a positive 2 for an answer. Okay, now, next thing deals with the number line again, just like we did the other day. They want us to start at negative 3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the negative, and then I'm going to minus 1. So I'm going to take one more away. So my answer of negative 3 minus 1 makes a negative 4. So that's something a lot of kids don't see. They want to get an answer of possibly negative 2 or 2, things like that. So we want to be really careful when we're doing a problem like that. So the way we like to teach subtracting, okay, because subtraction, especially when you have double negatives, when you say like 2 minus negative 4 or something like that, that is really where kids get into some problems. So what we want to teach you is to be really good at adding integers, which is our lesson that we just got done with in lesson 1-2. So what we really want you to do is know again these 3 steps to adding. Okay, this is again a review from the previous lesson. Okay, we want you to always be adding. And think back to the problem that we did in the very beginning today, where it was 4 minus 2 or 4 plus negative 2. Okay, so we're going to refer back to these 3 steps here in a minute. So what we try to teach you, okay, is a method that we like to call double slash. Okay, and the real name for it is add the opposite. So what you can do is you can just really be really good at addition, and you never really have to know how to subtract, because what we're going to do is we're going to turn every subtraction problem into an addition problem. So instead of saying 3 minus 12, I'm going to say 3 plus, I'm going to add the opposite of 12, which would be negative 12. Now the reason that we do this is so that we really just have to be really good at addition. So now I'm going to go through those 3 steps that we talked about right here. Okay, those 3 steps that are right here, and I'm going to go through those one more time. So the bigger number here is 12, and 12 is a negative, which means my answer is going to be a negative answer. The second step is, do they have same or different signs? Well, 3 is positive and 12 is negative, which means they have different signs. So the difference of 12 and 3 is 9. So my answer to that problem would be a negative 9. Now this is the one, letter B is the one that most kids make a mistake on. So this is where we really stress the double slash. Okay, so the negative 8 stays a negative 8. But then what we're going to do is we're going to add the opposite of negative 13. And the opposite of negative 13 is just 13. It's a positive 13. So now we can go through our 3 steps. Is the bigger number positive or negative? Well, 13 is bigger, so that is a positive number, which means your answer will be positive. Now we say, do they have same or different signs? Well, 8 is negative, 13 is positive, so they now have different signs, and the difference of 13 and 8 is 5. And we knew it was going to be positive. Okay, next one. This is, again, one where anytime we have these double negatives, kids really, really make mistakes on these. A lot of kids will tell me the answer to this is -1. Okay, and I think you can kind of see how that might happen, or maybe -9 would be another answer. But if we rewrite it, okay, we say 5, and now we're going to add the opposite. So we're going to add the opposite of -4, which is 4. And I think we all know that comes out to be 9. So when you rewrite that problem, it makes it a whole lot easier, because sometimes when we have those double negatives, it can kind of play tricks in your head a little bit, okay? So we want to rewrite them to all be addition. All right, so I'm going to do the first 3 here, and then I'm going to have you pause your screen and do the next 3. And I want everyone to be rewritten. So number 1, we'd have 8 plus the opposite of 3 is -3. So now we go through those steps. Bigger number's positive, same or different, which would be different, and comes out to be 5, the difference. Next one, we rewrite it to be 9 plus -17. Okay, and this one, bigger number is negative, so your answer will be negative. They have different signs, so the difference is 8. -3 minus 3. Again, a lot of kids will say that this answer would be 0, okay? But if we rewrite it to be -3 plus, and now the opposite of 3 would be -3. So now a -3 and more you add on 3 more -3s, that's going to give you -6. Now at this point, I would like you to pause your video. I would like you to rewrite each one of those and then come back and check with me. Okay, so now double check your 3, see if you match mine, and notice I rewrote every one to be addition. All right, we want everything to be add all the time. All right, now on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first 4 with you, because now what they're doing is they're ramping up the difficulty a little bit, and they're making you do 3 things. So what I like to do is I like to do 2 at a time. So I'm just going to start with that, and I'm going to rewrite it to be -9 plus -16. Okay, -9 plus -16 would be -25. Again, if we go through those 3 steps like we've been doing. But now we're going to, now we have to do this portion right here. So now I'm going to add a -8 to that. So now I have -25 plus -8, which again, if we go through those 3 steps, it would give you an answer of -33. Okay. Next one, again, I'm going to start with these 2. I have -4 plus, I'm going to rewrite it to be -20, and that will come out to be -24. Now I have to do my third portion here, which is adding -9 to that. And -24 plus -9 gives you that -33 again. The problem with kids doing all 3 at one time is they usually mess up kind of where they're at. So the way I like to teach it is showing 2 at a time, because then you know exactly where you're going. Okay, next one, number 9. 0 minus 9, I'm going to rewrite that to be 0 plus a -9. We add the opposite, and that would come out to be -9. And now I'm going to subtract right here a -5. So I'm going to add the opposite of a -5, which is a 5. And if you get that, you come out with -4. And then the last one I'm going to do with you here, okay, I'm going to start with this. -8 minus -6, I'm going to rewrite it to be -8 plus a +6. And that comes out to be a -2. And now you have -2 Obviously, you're minusing 0, so I'm going to make it plus 0 because you can't have the opposite of that. And that comes out to be -2. Now again, I would like you to pause your video, and I would like you to try number 11 and 12 on your own and come back and check with me. Okay, so I'd like you to check these two answers right here. See if you match mine, and if you don't, make sure you look at my work and see where did you go wrong in your answer. That's why we really, Mr. GM and I both stress showing your work so that we can really see where did we go wrong in our particular problem. All right, which continent has the greater range of elevations? Okay, so range, you have to know that maybe from elementary school. A range is where we're going to take our biggest number and subtract our smallest number. So I'm going to start with North America here, and I'm going to take 6198, and I'm going to subtract -86 to that. So again, we don't like to subtract, okay, we like to add. So I'm going to make this 6198, and now we are going to add the opposite of -86, which would be 86. And if you add those two up, it comes out to be 6,284. Now we're going to move on to Africa. Okay, Africa was 5,895. And now we are going to subtract again a -155. So I'm going to choose to rewrite that again to be addition. So it's 5,895 plus the opposite of a -155, which would be a +155. And that comes out to be 6,050. So which continent, now back to the original question, which continent had the greater range? Well, that would be North America. All right, and that concludes lesson 1.3 on subtraction. And really, really stress to rewrite them to be adding the opposite, because you're much more or less likely to make mistakes if you rewrite them. All right, so if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to Mr. GM or myself, and good luck.